you can have lots of doubts and lots of sort of myths about what might go wrong and I just don't think that's true. When you talk to people, I don't think it is true. And the cost is much, much less than you imagine it's going to be to have it installed. And the peace of mind when you've got it, I think will be much better. I was worried about the environment and burning fossil fuels, and I did have gas central heating. Wanted to look to something that was more sort of ecological and wasn't going to burn up the planet. The second one was about cost, that your bills are just massively reduced and you don't have to worry about putting your heating on because you can't afford it. So that sort of just made me feel that they were the two reasons that drove me to look at it. I'd heard of them and I sort of half knew how they worked. I sort of had in my head that they were like fridges in reverse, and so I had some idea, but my neighbour was having one done, and so I sat in when she was talking to sort of the people, and that answered some of the questions. She told me about how she has a number of friends in Canada and they use heat pumps, and I think if they work in Canada, because I was slightly worried they might not be warm enough in winter, I think if they're good enough in Canada then they're good enough in Manchester. I didn't realise that you could actually store the electricity that it makes and keep your heating off for summer. Can switch it on and off, although it's better to leave it on all the time in winter. In summer you can switch it on and off if you need it, so if it got suddenly very cold you could put it back on. So I was worried about controllability really, but having spoken to people, it seemed like it was sort of going to be very controllable, so that again reassured me that it would be okay. My neighbour was having you round, and my neighbour sort of, and I said I was interested. I'd been thinking about heat pumps, but hadn't really. I didn't want to commit to sort of saying come round and do it, but so I just went in and listened to what, and then asked my own questions, and then realised that I was actually more interested than I thought, and it was cheaper than I thought as well. So the combination made me think I'm going to go ahead, and the firm seemed really nice. Certainly her experience of them was very good. There's a significant grant, so it takes 2/3 of the cost away nearly. I think your company's really good at talking you through what they're going to do and explaining it, so you know what to do, and you know that sort of, so you have a choice over where you put things and what you do and how that's going to work. And there's lots and lots of, do you want us to do this or do you want us to do that? What do you think about this? So the installation was good, and the people are brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. The workmen who come and do it have been really, really good, really sort of polite and sort of clean, and it's a minor disruption. You can still carry on and do your life. Oh, they've been really good, really good. I'd really recommend. The staff are lovely, really lovely. I suppose I'm quite excited about having significantly reduced bills. So, you know, gas central heating costs a fortune, and it does make me think twice about putting it on. So I do think, you know, I'll just put an extra jumper on, I'll get a blanket, and I just think it'd be quite nice to not have to worry about that. And I think the science of it, where you're not just heating the room, but you're heating the bricks, so the bricks stay warm in winter, so you don't need to top them up very much to make it warm, whereas you're always starting from a cold house in the beginning. Just means that and really you've only got the fan that's putting the hot water round, you haven't got anything else that's costing you any electricity. So it just so I'm looking forward to it being much cheaper, more efficient, and just feeling like I'm not contributing as big a part of global warming as I was. It's not that complicated. I think I thought it was going to be a very on or off system, whereas I think it is that you have some flexibility. I have flexibility about different rooms, I have flexibility about when, I have flexibility about turning it on and turning it off, so, and I have hot water all the time, so I'm not worried about how to use it. I think it seems like it's going to be fairly simple. I think it does take explaining, because it's different to how you use other systems, but I think that's because you're trying to constantly minimise the costs. You're constantly trying to heat from really cold up, whereas you've got a constant warmth that you're barely paying for in winter, and then you just, if you want it to be hot, you can add it in or turn it down. I would say talk to people, because they really do seem like a much easier solution. you can have lots of doubts and lots of sort of myths about what might go wrong and what, and I just don't think that's true. When you talk to people, I don't think it is true. And the cost is much, much less than you imagine it's going to be to have it installed. And the peace of mind when you've got it, I think, will be much better. I really, really like Improveasy. I thought they were lovely to work with, and they weren't pushy, they weren't sort of trying to force it. They were genuinely answering questions, left it up to me, and actually have been better than you could have expected. You know, really, really good. I would recommend them. I can't wait to get started.